Meanwhile, Russia and Ukraine have agreed to halt military strikes in the Black Sea and on energy sites during talks brokered by the United States, which offered ease pressure on agricultural exports, well, as a first concrete incentive to Moscow. The United States said it has made separate arrangements with Ukraine and Russia to ensure safe navigation in the Black Sea and to implement a ban on strikes against energy facilities in the two countries, with Washington agreeing to push to lift some sanctions against Moscow, now in its latest step towards endorsing Russia's positions.
It sounds like you made some progress on the Black Sea ceasefire. Could you update us on that? What happens now?
So we've made a lot of progress on two fronts, on both sections that we call them sections, but they're much more than that, Russia, Ukraine, and also the Middle East. And we'll see what happens. We're in deep discussions with Russia and Ukraine. And I would say it's going well, but it's a situation we should have never had to even think about. Should have never happened.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has confirmed that the US and Ukraine have agreed that there can be a maritime ceasefire with Russia after talks with the US in Saudi Arabia.
First of all, we agreed that there can be a maritime ceasefire and free navigation. You, in principle, know this already. In addition to what is briefly formulated in the statement, you are going to read it. We are grateful to the American side for this result.
However, Zelensky sounded a pessimistic note in his nightly video address on whether Russia would observe the partial ceasefire conditions proposed by the US.
We
in Ukraine will do everything to make the agreements work and so that there are no strikes. But the Russians must know and must realize, if they strike, they will receive a strong response, and the responsibility will be on them.
The Kremlin, however, said that the agreement to halt strikes in the Black Sea could come into force only after lifting the restrictions on its agriculture sector. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said that Moscow is open to the revival of an agreement to ensure safe transit in the Black Sea, but warned that Russian interests must be protected.
We
will need clear guarantees. Given the sad experience of agreements with Kyiv, guarantees can only be the result of an order from Washington to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and his team to do exactly this. It seems to me that our American partners have taken this signal.
With President Donald Trump pushing for a rapid end to the war that has killed tens of thousands of people, US negotiators shuttled separately over 3 days in the Saudi capital Riyadh between delegations from Ukraine and Russia. The talks also discussed bringing in third parties to observe a future truce. Well, Turkey, which has maintained ties with both sides, could monitor the situation on the Black Sea, and that a Middle Eastern nation could supervise the energy agreement.
The ceasefire agreement that was brokered today allows for third-party countries to help implement the agreement. What does that look like, and who's going to be involved?
The ceasefire agreement?
Yes, the maritime ceasefire agreement between Russia and Ukraine.
Well, they're going to get together. Look, they agreed to something and it got broken. There's tremendous animosity. There's a lot of hatred, as you can probably tell. And it allows for people to get together, mediate it, arbitrate it, and see if we can get it stopped. And I think it will. That'll get stopped.
The Saudi talks came as both Russia and Ukraine escalate their attacks on the ground, with Kiev saying its air defense units downed 78 of 139 drones launched by Russia on Tuesday. In Ukraine's northeastern capital of Sumy, officials said that the toll from a Russian strike in a residential area a day earlier climbed to 101 wounded, including 23 children. Russia has advanced in some areas of the front for months, and on Tuesday, it has claimed to have captured 2 more villages in southern and eastern Ukraine. And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York. Take a look.
In a significant development, the White House announced that Russia and Ukraine have agreed to a ceasefire in the Black Sea and to halt attacks on each other's energy facilities. This agreement, facilitated by the United States and U.S. negotiators in Saudi Arabia, aims to ensure safe navigation for commercial vessels and revitalize grain exports from both nations, crucial for the global food supply. As part of the deal, the U.S. has committed to assisting Russia in boosting its grain and fertilizer exports by addressing maritime insurance costs and improving access to ports and payment systems contingent upon the easing of certain European sanctions. And while this ceasefire represents one step forward to possibly resolving the 3-year conflict initiated by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, there's no doubt the challenges remain, including Ukraine's opposition to sanctions relief for Russia. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.